So what about aspiration to liquid? To pardon the pun, aspiration here was to extend the precision medicine paradigm, not just at the time of diagnosis, but across the longitudinal journey that a patient experiences with lung cancer. So, and this was to use ctDNA technology to help us direct treatments. So patients, so the study allows enrollment of 500 patients with oncogene-driven lung cancer who have evidence of disease progression on a targeted therapy. They have ctDNA, they're allowed to have tissue testing as well. And the ctDNA is analyzed, results are discussed at a molecular tumor board, and recommendations are provided to referring clinicians and their patients. And based on the recommendations, patients can be directed to treatments which may include PBS treatments, clinical trials, or potentially access programs. As I mentioned, this is a longitudinal study. Patients have a blood test at the time of entry with progression. When they start a new treatment, they have an early blood test, but they are allowed to have blood tests in the event of subsequent progression. We've set up a system so that the study will be open at 17 centres around the country. But in addition to that, there is a mechanism to have remote referrals for patients who aren't able to get to those centres for testing. So the aim is to provide really broad access across the country. So the study has opened. We've opened, I think it's 5 centres, 5 of the 17 centres. And have recruited 18 patients so far. We have a molecular tumour board which is incredibly ably chaired by Mal and Tony, who have put a lot of work into this. And we encourage the referring clinician to be involved at the time of discussion of the results. I might just, in the interest of time, just skip ahead to this and to really make a note that the study is open. We do have the potential for remote referral as well as referral at the participating sites. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben. Do we have any questions on the aspiration liquid study? Ben, I might just open up just from an eligibility perspective. So what do you anticipate will be the standard eligibility, the patient that will be eligible for this, and who do you think we should avoid trying to put onto this?
Yeah, no, good question. So the eligibility is patients on a targeted therapy who have disease progression where there is intent to change treatment. And that's important because, unfortunately, we're only able to do one test at the time of each progression. So if we do a test in the context of very low volume disease, for example, we're not, in those situations, the yield of ctDNA testing is likely to be low. Similarly, in the context of brain-only progression, for example, the ctDNA testing is likely to be low. So really, I guess we think the best value for patients will be to have the test done at the time of clinically significant progression that the patient and clinician are really thinking about changing treatment.
And on study, what happens when they're on study in terms of the procedures that are needed?
So the patient consents to have a blood test taken. If you're at a participating hospital, the test may be done in the hospital, but we've also got we've got 2 paths that the testing can be done. They can be done at the University of Melbourne Genomic Centre at Peter Mac, or can be done at Foundation Medicine. If the testing is done at Foundation Medicine, we'll organise for the blood test to be collected at a Sonic Health Centre and sent out to Sonic. I will note that there are also questionnaires for both the patient and also the referring clinician that will be sent out. And then results will be discussed at a molecular tumour board and results given to the clinician and then the patient.
And is there more testing once after that particular point?
Yep. So subsequent to that, if therapy changes, there's a 6-week ctDNA test that's done, and potential for future testing in the event of a potential subsequent progression.
This is Yet Ming from Royal Darwin Hospital, medical oncologist. One question about the rural-centered recruitment about the ASPiRATION-2 study. A lot of time we do need to explain and consent patients from the remote community, and sometimes. So I want to see if there is any commitment, particular commitment in terms of recruitment. Would they be consent or potential intention to do clinical trials interstate before we, in the discussion part?
Yeah, no. So the idea is to inform clinicians and patients of options. There's no commitment. So what we endeavour to do is to get the testing result based on the molecular testing, provide molecular guided treatment options, and really only the patient and the clinician will know which of the listed options are suitable or practical for that patient.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ben. And good luck with that study. We think it's a really important study. Hopefully it will lead to lots of other sub-studies going forward as well. So